thank you all for being here. This is the 5th and final session of first year program summer. Since we're all here and we're just kind of getting ready to get going today, if you have a reaction of maybe how you're feeling about getting through these 5 sessions, if you've been here for all 5, you can share them, or I'm sure you're all feeling excited about it as well. But we have a really wonderful opportunity to get to hear from a great campus partner and learn a little bit more about health promotion that is available on the CU campus, as well as a lot of great things for how to make great decisions, and then talking about your legacy that you're going to lead while you are here at CU and beyond. So we have a really fun rest of our hour and last session that we will get to do with you this summer. So I am lucky to kick it off to our campus partner, Kat Daly, who is the Associate Director of Health Promotion Department on campus. And she's going to lead us through just some slides to kind of figure out all of the different opportunities that are available to you here. Before that, I want to do a quick caveat that every single one of you that is here that's a student athlete is an original. You're one of a kind. You are a unique person who is going to be on this campus, who has a lot of wonderful things that you're going to get to go through, and a lot of great exposure, stresses, fun, exciting things that you'll get to go through. And so really, we're just trying to prepare you for all of the things that you are likely to face. Some of them you might not ever, some of them you could, but really all of you have this wonderful, unique experience as a student athlete. And so we just want to help prepare you for every single one of those. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic over to our friend, Kat Daly. So Kat, take it away.
Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for that introduction. My name is Kat Daly. As Catherine mentioned, I am the Acting Director of Health Promotion in the CU Collegiate Recovery community here on campus, and have been here for about 11 years. So I do just want to put that caveat out that Catherine already mentioned. The experience of every single student is different. There are some things that you might come into contact with, and that will look different for each of you. And so the things that I'm going to talk about today are things for you to just consider for yourself. They are things that your friends may also experience. And so just really giving you a chance to kind of think through what you want your experience to be and how you can take some of this information into account to make those choices that are going to be best for you. So today I'm going to be going over some party smart strategies, navigating relationships. And when I say relationships, I mean everything from potential roommates to romantic partners to friends and family. We'll talk a little bit about some safer sex information and resources, and then also just give you some of the highlights of some of the free physical and mental health resources that are available to you on campus. Next slide. So one of the things that a lot of our students ask about when they arrive on campus is trying to understand what the party culture looks like here. I think it's really important for folks to understand when they think about if they choose to go out and party, if they choose to use substances. And I know that there are some unique kind of caveats around being a student athlete specifically, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about how alcohol affects the brain and some of the ways that people can kind of pay attention to those in themselves or in others to really, again, have a safer experience as well as avoid any of the potential negative impacts of substance use. So when we first encounter alcohol in the brain, or it first starts working on the brain, that is when it is working on the frontal lobe, so the front of the brain here. And that is when people maybe experience those lower inhibitions, those reduced social anxiety, possibly increased feelings of positivity. That's also when people are often more loud, daring, or energetic. A lot of times people associate those positive experiences of drinking and alcohol with those first impacts on the frontal lobe. And I think that's really important for folks to notice because that happens at a really low blood alcohol concentration. And oftentimes people will drink past that, but that's when we start to see those impacts on the middle part of our brain, where we're seeing that the motor skills are slowed, people might be slurring their speech or fumbling, they're misinterpreting the environment, potentially having social interactions that they're not reading social cues for. This is also when we start to see people, if they continue to drink, then we notice that it then is having an impact further down on the brainstem, where basic body functions are impaired. And this is when we start to see those really strong potential impacts on health and safety, where someone might not be able to stand, they might be in danger of vomiting or choking, passing out. And the more that we see some of those signs in somebody, the more we also want to make sure that we are trying to offer help and support, because that is when we start to see that increase for a risk of alcohol poisoning and also potential death. So I think it's just something for us to be aware of, is how alcohol is impacting us. And if someone is wanting to more positive aspects, that they also know it doesn't take a lot to really capture the positives experiences that people are looking for. And anything past that often actually results in some of those impacts on the body and the brain that people tend to say they want to avoid. Next slide. So something that I think is really helpful is to think through if you are out at a party, or if you know people who are choosing to party or are with friends who maybe are drinking, that there are some things that people can do that can help reduce the impacts of alcohol on the body, and again, help reduce some of those unwanted experiences. So it's really, really important for people to eat and drink water both before they go out, and then also while they're at a party. It can help keep people hydrated. So the amount of water we have in our body impacts the way that alcohol impacts us. And drinking also helps slow the absorption of the alcohol through the wall of the stomach and into our bloodstream, or into the intestine and into the bloodstream. So it can help reduce some of those negative impacts that way, but again, both prior to and while being out. We really encourage people to go out with a group of friends that they trust, and to create a plan prior to going out that everybody chooses to agree to. So that could be, if they get separated, how are you finding your way back to each other? If someone does have too much to drink, how are friends stepping in to offer support and help make sure that they're getting home safely? If people choose to go to a different party, are you all deciding to do that together so you stick together? This is something that can really help enhance that safety, both for individuals, but also for groups of people, and friends for those who maybe choose not to use substances. Setting a limit and sticking to that. When I say limit, this could be the number of drinks that a person is choosing to consume. This could be how often they want to go out. So if they only want to go out once or twice in a week, or maybe they want to set a limit on when they plan on going home, if they have practice in the morning, or if they have any kind of priorities that they need to attend to the following day. So really understanding what that limit is for you. And then once you set it, really try to hold to that. We also really encourage people to find a safe ride home and have that planned out if possible prior to leaving for the night. So CU Night Ride is a great option for folks, but Uber and Lyft is also an option. Walking home and doing so with a group that you trust, or really making sure that folks also have charged phones and money in case they need it again to get home safely. Another strategy that we really encourage folks to know is to know what's in your drink. So this is a few different components to this strategy. One is knowing what a serving size of alcohol is. So for hard alcohol, it's only 1.5 ounces. For wine, it's 5 ounces. And then for beer, it is 12 ounces. And so if a person is having a mixed drink, or they're getting something from a cooler, chances are, if they're having just a normal solo cup or other kind of plastic cup, that they are often having far more than just one serving size of alcohol. This is also knowing what's in your drink in terms of making sure that you are preparing your own drinks and holding on to them throughout the night, not leaving them unattended. Again, just protecting and knowing what is in your drink and making sure that you keep an eye on it, or have a friend who is being able to do that for you if you need to step away. We also encourage people to avoid combining alcohol with other substances. So depending on what the substance is, it can really increase or amplify the potential risk of overdose or alcohol poisoning. Oftentimes, we see that if people are using it with any sort of depressive substance, because they're both depressants, that has almost a quadruple effect on respiratory function. So it's just really important for folks to know that if they are on medications or if they have had any other substances, that again, having alcohol alongside that can definitely increase risk. And then knowing how to respond in an emergency. If you all are living in residence halls, you will see this sticker on the back of the bathroom stall doors frequently. You'll also see it in a lot of messaging from campus overall, but really just knowing how to respond if you're concerned for somebody is really important, again, to helping increase safety. We'll go to the next slide. So this is something called the recovery position. Again, we have this all over campus, really wanting to make sure that people know what to look for, as well as how to respond if they are worried about somebody. So if you notice that a person is passed out or unresponsive, if they have fewer than 12 breaths per minute, if they're vomiting while passed out, have pale, bluish or cold and clammy skin, we're seeing some impacts on circulation, or uncontrolled peeing or pooping. These are all signs that a person is experiencing or could be experiencing alcohol poisoning. And so we're going to respond. And again, hopefully this is something that you never have to encounter. And we just really want people to, if they do, have that skill set and know how to offer support to somebody. And so if you do notice this in somebody, we would encourage you to first call 911 and then put them in the recovery position. So this is really laying a person on their side, helping brace them with their arm and knee, and then really pointing their chin downward. This helps protect them if they do throw up from inhaling or choking on that vomit. And then we definitely want to make sure that we're staying with that person until help arrives. And so this is one of those things that, again, hopefully you never need, but if it does happen, we want you to have those skills. Overdose, I have heard a lot of questions from people around fentanyl overdose in the past couple of years. It is something that is very rare on our campus, and also because it is a huge impact for individuals, we do just want to let people know that we also have free naloxone and fentanyl test strips available at the third floor health promotion front desk at Wardenburg Health Center. And this is available to anybody on the campus community. I know lots of people who like to carry it just as a safety precaution. Next slide. All right, we're switching gears now. So I wanted to do a very quick brush through how to navigate certain relationships, and knowing that as you all are coming into your college experience, your relationships might change. You'll have new ones forming, and you will be navigating what those relationships from home look like too. And this is something that also happens throughout every year of college as you kind of enter these new stages. And so just a few tips that can really help navigate any sort of relationship, whether it's friends or family, potential partners. Just keeping these in mind to see if they might be a fit for you as you go through your first year here. So one, just staying connected to folks. And this is something that I encourage people to kind of create a little bit of a plan and what those expectations are before you are firmly here on campus or before you get completely into your routine. And so really looking at the fact that you will have a lot happening here, you probably already do, but that talking about how are you going to make sure that you're staying connected to the people from home? Are you going to text or call, check in, once a week? Again, what works for you and what works for those people that you have relationships at home so you can keep connected. Also knowing what your boundaries are. So what are those things that are most important to you as a student athlete as you are coming into your first year? And how do you really protect those things that matter to you? So whether that's your free time, whether that is knowing how you want to engage in friendships, those different things. So just know kind of what your boundaries are and how you can communicate those to others. We also encourage people to help set realistic expectations. So be able to communicate what it is you need, but also reflect on and make sure that you aren't asking someone to support you in ways that are unrealistic for you or for them, or make changes to routines in ways that feel unrealistic. This sometimes can come up when people are navigating roommate relationships. There might be things that one person really, really wants and things that their roommate really, really wants. And sometimes people need to kind of navigate and compromise on some of those things. Communicating openly. So again, just deciding how you want to handle conflict when you have needs or concerns. What are those things that make sense for you to be able to share those with those in your life in a way that feels heard and respected, but also being able to do that for the people that are also in your friendships and relationships. And then just knowing that you will be coming into contact with people with lots of different ideas, different histories, different experiences. And so that there will probably be differences too in terms of what you are looking for in relationships of any kind and what they are. And again, just keeping these things in mind can help a lot in terms of clarifying those things. Next slide. Those same skills that I talked about for friendships, families, they also can be very helpful when you start thinking about sexual relationships as well. This is a very quick rundown of just, again, safer sex resources and some supplies that are available here on campus for those who choose to have sex. We really encourage people to get tested before having sex or in between sexual partners. So annually, if a person maybe only has that one continual partner, or every 3 to 6 months, if people have different partners, just to keep up with their sexual health. There is testing available through Warrenburg Health Center on campus. And then the state of Colorado actually also has free at-home test kits that get mailed directly to a person's door. They can send them and get those test results in a confidential way. And that's another great resource that's available to you as students, but really anybody within Colorado. We always encourage people to establish consent and set those boundaries. So again, understanding what you are wanting and what your partner or partners are wanting. Understanding what safer sex supplies are available on campus is also a really great resource. So we have barrier methods, so condoms, dental dams, and finger cots. These are things that protect both against pregnancy as well as STIs, so sexually transmitted infections. If a person is just on like oral contraceptive or birth control specifically, that might not actually protect against STI transmission. So again, we really encourage people to look at what they're wanting and how are they able to utilize those resources, again, to stay safer. We have those in the wellness suite at Wardenberg, so that's on the 3rd floor. But students can also order them and have them delivered to their on-campus residence for free in a buff box, which I'll talk a little bit more about here in just a minute. And then just if you have any concerns, check in with your healthcare provider with any questions. Next slide. All right, and last, I just wanted to highlight a few resources that are available to you that can be really helpful and just nice to know about. So the first is that wellness suite that is in Wardenburg Health Center. We're located on the 3rd floor. There are 2 nap pods there. There's also nap pods in the rec center as well as in the libraries, but this is where people can just have some privacy if they also need 15 minutes to just take a break. On the other side of the wellness suite are some couches of quiet space for people to study, and then a ton of different health supplies that people can get whenever they need them for free. And again, you don't have to check in with anybody. So we have everything from cold care supplies there to safer sex supplies. We have sleep masks and earplugs and just a lot of different options that are available to folks. And you can just go in and get those during business hours as needed. We also have, and there are 2 pictures at the top of this slide that are examples of our buff boxes. So we have sexy swag, which includes, again, those barrier methods and lube, as well as the staying healthy box, so tea, honey sticks, usually Kleenex, a reusable thermometer, different resources like that. But we also have ones that offer support around stress and sleep, and then safer night out. So some of those harm reduction resources that I talked about earlier when we were talking about alcohol and other drugs. These are all delivered and no one can tell what buff box you ordered from the outside. So you can order whichever one you want. And it's really a nice way to get resources right at your front desk of your res hall or over to Bear Creek. And then the last thing I just wanted to highlight was academic life care. This is something that was started about a year ago, and it provides free telehealth for students on campus. So there's a coupon code. You can utilize it anywhere within the United States. And it's an unlimited service, but it also provides urgent care, prescriptions, and then also mental health care and psychiatry. And so it's really nice because it's supplemental to everything that you get here at CU, but is something that, again, is free to you, and the availability is really great. So if you need to talk to someone more quickly, or again, you're traveling and need to get in touch with someone around urgent care, it's a really great resource that you can utilize. So, and all of this can be found on our website, colorado.edu/health. And if you type in any of these kind of topics, it will bring you to the order forms or how to get signed up for things. And with that, we have a quick knowledge check. So if you would be willing, hopefully you will see a quick poll. Would you go through and answer those for me?
I see we're getting more answers now, so can you see it or no? Okay, cool. I bet we could get like 3 more probably just from our group here. Yeah. That might be about it. So yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So are folks able to see the results? Yep, perfect. Okay. So how much is not a serving size of alcohol? The answer is 16 ounces of beer. If people go to a restaurant and get a pint, that is actually 1.25 servings of alcohol. The rest are correct for wine. You all got it right. True. Naloxone and fentanyl test strips are available for folks. All birth control options protect against sexually transmitted infections. False. Barrier methods should be able to protect against STIs as well as pregnancy, or reduce the likelihood. And those are free resources available to you all here on campus. The Wellness Suite has absolutely every single one of those things listed, all of the above. And last but not least, Academic Life Care is an online telehealth resource that is free for all students, so urgent care, psychiatry, and mental health visits. All right. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you so much for joining us. Those were really incredible skills that every single person can learn something from. So appreciate you just being here and sharing your knowledge. In a little bit, we'll also drop the information to get in touch with Health Promotions into the chat if you have follow-up questions or just want to go and meet them, see them in Wardenburg. So Kat, thank you so much. Appreciate you. So we're going to talk about all of these things now, just real briefly with the lens to the unique experience of the student athletes that are here too. So I'm going to go back and reshare my screen. We are going to just talk about and hear from Erin a little bit more about some of the unique and specific things that you should be thinking of in terms of your the rules and regulations from the athletic department. So
all right. Hi, everyone. So Kat is a great partner on campus. And one thing to just kind of keep in mind, being student athletes, you have access to everything that general students have access to. So all the things that Kat just covered, but you also have additional resources within athletics. PHP, or psychological health and performance, being one of them. You still have access to that academic life care, but we also offer in-house counseling and individual services. You can do that in person. You can also do that virtually. You have everything that they shared, as well as additional services that are specific for athletes. The one thing that I was also thinking about as she was describing safe partying, it's really important to have your crew of people. And the one nice thing about being in athletics is you have people that you know on your team, on other teams that you interact with on a daily basis. And so really being able to use your support system when you go out, I think that's another unique thing about being an athlete that can come into handy. So another thing I wanted to just talk through, just so that you all have the information, is the drug testing policy for athletics. And so I'll go over this. I'm happy to answer any questions. If you have any, feel free to drop them in the chat, or if you want to talk to me privately, that is fine too. So just so that you all are aware, CU Athletics has a random drug testing policy. So basically what happens during the year is that athletes will be drawn, their names will be drawn at random to provide a drug test either that morning, or like you'll get notified the night before, and you'll be required to complete a drug test. So if you test positive for that, there are mandated appointments with your team physician as well as someone from PHP. Really what we're trying to gauge is how things are going. If someone needs support, it's not about getting people in trouble. It's really about trying to help support you all in be the best athletes you can be, both on and off the field or the court or the track. And so if it was a positive for marijuana, essentially what can happen is you can attend an education series. And if you complete those, it's a 2-series course. I'm the one that runs that. I don't think I'm super scary, but you never know. So it's another thing that I imagine you don't want to have to do. So, but if you do attend that education series, that first positive gets taken away, so it doesn't count against you. If that is only for marijuana, so if you test positive for other substances, that is not an option. That would be a true first positive. If there is a second violation, outside of that, you would then lose 20% of your competitive season. Similar things happen. You would have to meet with a team physician as well as someone from PHP. Really what we'd be making is different recommendations depending on what your situation is. You also would be subject to additional testing. If there's a third violation, it would be a loss of 50% of the season plus mandated appointments. At that point, we would definitely be making recommendations that you get additional support. Probably be doing that even with the second violation, but And then if there's a fourth violation, it's a loss of 100% of the season. So the biggest thing I tell folks is we don't ever want anything to get in the way of you all being able to compete, or for you all to be able to participate in whatever the things that you want to do. So the big takeaway here is really just be aware of what you're putting in your body. Know that you can be tested randomly, and it's not about getting you all in trouble. From our perspective, we just want to help support people that may be struggling. The first thing too up top that we mentioned is if you are struggling with any type of substance and you need support, you can always talk to someone, whether that's your athletic trainer, whether that's me or someone in PHP, whether that is someone in LCD. You can let them know like, hey, I'm struggling with this. I need help. I need some support, and we will get you that support with no punishment. So just know that we are here to support you guys. It's not about getting you in trouble. And that has to happen before you're told that there is a test. So you can't be notified like, hey, Joe, you have to test tomorrow, and then you're like, oh, just kidding, I need to be part of this program. So please let us know if you are struggling with anything. We just want to help you get where you want to go. And then another thing, so I think I may have mentioned this last week, you all have free access to a Calm subscription through our department. And so go ahead and scan the QR code. Basically how you sign up is you go to this site with the QR code. You have to enter your Colorado email, not your identity. So you want to do your first dot last name. You all should be in the system already. And so by doing that, you'll get free premium subscription to Calm. So the thing with Calm, there's a lot of different mindfulness exercises that you can do. There's sport performance. There's a bunch of different sport performance series. So you can also access that. For those that may struggle with sleep, they have sleep stories and things that can help with sleep. They have things that can help with stress and school. And so really, this is a huge resource that you all can use, and we encourage you to use it. I know a lot of the athletes that I've talked to have loved it, and they find different ones that work for them. It doesn't have to be a huge thing. So sometimes there's like 2-minute meditations or mindfulness exercises. Just like you train your body, it's important to train your brain too. And so this is one way to do that. Catherine, did I forget anything? Okay, so that was a lot of information. I think we are now going to go into our breakout rooms.
Yes, we are. So thank you so much, Erin. Yeah, all of these things that we're telling you are wonderful tools for you to use at your own agency. So remember, we're advocating for you to do and use all of these things. So please just make sure you ask questions if you need them. So as Erin said, we're going to hop into our cohorts for about 8 minutes. And we're just going to talk a little bit about everything that we've learned, answer some questions, and then start thinking about what we're doing with our time here and the ultimate legacy that you are leaving here. So I'm going to send you all into your breakout rooms for, like I said, 8 minutes, and then we will see you on the other side.
Hello, everyone. How did we all think that session? Was that informative?
Yes.
Yes. Jaden, what did you learn in that session? I don't know, she listening to me.
I'm sorry, it's kind of loud in the background. It's
Sorry,
multiple.
what did you learn in that session?
The nutrition part, the nutrition piece about it.
Okay. What's
Yeah,
your favorite food you've eaten at Champion Center so far?
I said I've had the eggs and the bacon and stuff. I've eaten breakfast so far.
Breakfast is solid. I agree.
Like I'm sorry, what did you say?
No, you're all good. Thank you for your answers.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions about what we just talked about? Do we all know about the insurance? Have you seen your email about all that insurance stuff that Abby Hilliard was talking about? Okay, it's very important that you ask your trainer or that you ask Abby about that. Because like she said, if you don't need school insurance, because like your parents or your guardian has it, if you don't need it and you don't waive it, you still get charged for it. So it's very important that you go through those steps you need, because that happens every semester to someone, and it would be a bummer to have to pay $2,000 because you didn't click a button on a website. So just make sure you are keeping your eye on your inbox. You've probably learned by now that there is a whole lot of communication that happens in your email. That's sort of how we do things. That's how the world works. So you need to make sure you're up on your email.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I was trying to waive the insurance back when I was doing like online orientation and stuff, but it says that I'm not allowed to waive it until after I register for classes. Is this different, or do I have to wait?
Oh, I didn't know you weren't registered yet. You do need to register for classes first, yeah. But like Abby said, you have until September to waive the health insurance, so it's not a huge rush. But yeah,
Okay.
that's a good point, Vanessa. You register for classes. I think some people here are in summer school, so they're on a different timeline. But if you're not in summer school, you have to register for your fall classes first, and then that's when you waive the health insurance. Yes, that is correct. Hank, what has been your favorite meal at the Champion Center thus far? You've been here for a while. What have you liked to eat?
I like when they do like the Chipotle style meal.
Hmm.
So you kind of like build your own, like with rice, beans, meat, whatever.
I
Yeah.
agree. That's a good one. I like the burrito bowls or the burritos. Did you have the oxtail stew last week?
I did. The oxtail wasn't that great though.
Oh, you
It
didn't
was a
like it?
little, it was a little, it was hard to get off the bone, so it was kind of hard to eat.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste. It is a very
Yeah.
southern dish. But like Dana said, if there's a food you guys are missing, maybe from back home or that you just haven't seen them cook, it's always worth asking your nutritionist, or if you get to know the Chef Carl down there and his staff, because they do want to make sure they're cooking food that you actually want to eat. So if there's something you are, I mean, it's obviously has to be somewhat healthy, but if there's something you are jonesing for, it's worth a shot asking that. Hope, have you had a chance to eat at Champion Center yet? You've been here for couple weeks.
Yeah, I have it for lunch like every day.
Okay. Has anyone have been, Asan, I guess you would have eaten at the event center, right? No, you always come over here.
Wait, you mean the Champion Center or the Event Center?
So there's two places. So the event center or the Champion Center where I am right now, so people usually call it Champs or Fueling Station. That is the big meal. So that's breakfast, lunch, and dinner once class starts. Only right now it's breakfast, lunch. That's like the full sit down meal. But at the event center where basketball is, where volleyball, lacrosse, there is also a place to eat over there. So if you live in a dorm that's right by the event center, like I think Kit is over there. I forget what that closest one is. But some people, if they are in those dorms by like not Will, I think it's Kit. You can always pop over there because your Buff One card will work. It'll get you in. And during the school year, it's like grab and go stuff. But it's probably better than dorm food and it's better than going grocery shopping. So something to keep in mind if that's where you're living or if your team works out over there, that there's stuff for you to grab there too. But yeah, Champion Center Fueling Station is like the big one. That's where everybody is. Asan, what's been your favorite food so far?
Uh, I didn't eat so far. Like I usually don't eat at all.
We give you free food and you just don't eat?
Nah, I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say,
I'm
I
gonna say
know Dana makes you eat.
I just grabbed steak today and shrimp. I think that was good too.
It is pretty amazing that
Yeah.
at some point we have athletes saying they're sick of eating steak, which is a very nice
Not
feat.
yet. Not yet.
Not yet? Okay, good.
Not yet.
Good. But that's pretty impressive when you think that there's so much steak that you get sick of it. Has anybody on the call who hasn't met their trainer yet? Has anyone? Vanessa, you probably haven't yet, right?
I met him on my official visit.
Oh, nice. Okay. hmm Drake, what event in track and field are you?
I did decathlon and high jump.
Okay, so I think mostly Coach Malone acts as your strength coach.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, so just so you guys know, in track and field, there's long distance, cross country, distance runners, there's throwers, there's multis like Drake, so jumps, decathlon, things like that. And then there is sprinters and hurdles. So we actually have like 4 mini teams within the track and field team, which is why I asked Drake what he does, because they do different things. As you can imagine, they need different skills. But you will see the coaches Malone, their husband and wife, Casey and Lindsay. They are track coaches, so you'll see them like they kind of operate as strength coaches too. They run a lot of their own weight room programs and stuff, whereas everyone else on the call has a strength coach that does different things than their regular coach. But the Malones do it all, so they are one-stop shop. Does anyone else have any questions before we go back to the main room? Okay, we have one more FYP. I know you guys are super jazzed, but one more next week. And then we'll see you when you get back for the welcome back picnic.
Because we have limited time, I am going to do a very brief intro, but with a really warm welcome to an amazing buff who has been able to come back and chat with us for a couple minutes just about her story, her time at CU, as well as her legacy that she left because she did so much during her time here and afterwards. So I am going to just pass the torch directly over to a former buff and wonderful human, Ariana Henderson. So take it away. Let's hear it from you.
Hello, everyone. It's so nice to see a few of your faces. I know a lot of y'all still got may have y'all's cameras off, but I'm happy to be here. Like Catherine said, I'm a forever buff, so it's always good to be around family. A little bit about what I'm here to do is tell my story, which I know that's what y'all are doing. Y'all breakouts room is trying to figure out how to tell y'all story and the legacy that y'all are going to leave at CU, because I know this is y'all's first year, but your legacy is already starting and your story is already beginning to being written. So I'm from Houston, Texas. I am the youngest of 5 girls. So my dad had no boys, and as you all know, when a dad has no boys, that meant all 5 girls had to do sports in some capacity. So athletics was a big part of my life. It's a big part of my life here today. It's what I do now. But I started running track when I was 5 years old, looking up to my older sisters who also ran. They played basketball and they did gymnastics. So I had role models to look up to. I was never a little girl that was like, I can't do that because boys can do it. I was never that. If boys can do it, I can do it better. Period. Like that's how that was my mindset throughout school, throughout life, throughout everything. So I ran track from 5 all the way up until I was in high school. When I got to high school, I knew I wanted to compete at a D1 level, but at the same time, that's when you're starting to get more realistic of what you can do and where you can go. So I was getting recruited by a number of Power 5 schools, but when Colorado came calling, I was very shocked, one, because I had never visited the state of Colorado. I didn't know really what was there. The first thing you think of when you hear Colorado is you think of snow, you think of cold, you might think of other things, but that was the top few things that popped up into my head, snow and cold, and I knew I couldn't do that coming from Texas. But when I went on my visit, it was beautiful. Like, the sky, the sun was shining, the sun was sunning. The people were a vibe. Like, everybody was super nice. I got shown the athletic department, and honestly, I was blown away. I got to see the indoor practice facility, IPF. I got to see like the outdoor track, which, wasn't a showstopper, but I liked it because I could see the mountain view from like when I was running. So I might be dying on the track, but at least I can have a pretty sight and a pretty view. That was really important to me. And then, like I said, the people were really nice. So I went to a place where originally I thought like, I'm never going to go to CU. I took it as a vacation. Like, literally, I took my visit as a vacation to go somewhere I had never been. And then when I got there, I loved it. I fell in love with my coaches. I fell in love with the facilities. I met Rick George on my visit. And I just want to say, if y'all haven't had a time to go and talk to Rick George, you need to, because he's the best AD in the business. Nobody can beat him and nobody can top him. Stand firm on that statement. But then once I started at CU, I started in 2016, so I'm aging myself just a little bit, but I started in 2016. And when I got to campus, it was a culture shock. Like, I did not know what I was getting into. Like I said, on my visit, I got to see all of the athletic facilities. So I got to see a lot of diversity. And that was the big thing moving to Colorado. I was like, oh, I'm coming from Houston, which is like a melting pot of cultures. I want to make sure I'm going somewhere where there's also going to be diversity. And what I was showed on my visit compared to when I was moving into my dorms was something completely different. And that's when I say it was a culture shock. I moved in and I didn't see really nobody that looked like me. And I also felt like I didn't live with athletes my first semester of college. So I also felt like I didn't have anybody that was on the same cadence and same schedule as me. And that left me to really find and dig for my community. And I started in athletics. So right where y'all are now, you can build your community there. You can also go off campus and build your community, but I really found like intentional community within the athletic department. I became a member of SAC. I really used our academic mentor. Mine was Meffert when I was a freshman, and he really pushed me into being on the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Council, using my voice there, joining SAC, like I said, and then numerous boards. Like once one door opens for you in athletic department, a number of other ones will too. So it was just me getting myself involved in kind of my athletic academic advisor, pushing me to take that first step. But once I took that first step, all of the doors started opening. From there, I was able to go to like NCORE, which is the National Conference of Race and Ethnicity in Higher Education. And then I also got to go to like the Black Student Athlete Summit and really find community there. From there, like I went to the Black Student Athlete Summit. We really got to figure out what other schools were doing to build inclusivity in our department. And so that's when we came up with Rockin' with Rick. And Rick is one of the only ADs that has a place and holds a space for student athletes to come in and ask him questions. You can ask him, hey, Rick, how's your day going? You can ask him, what's going on in college athletics with NIL? What's going on with Austin? You can ask him, are we going to add more sports? How do you deal with difficult days? Like these are just open-ended questions that you can ask him. And he's really one of the only ADs that does that and probably continue to do that. But that's one legacy that I was trying to leave, is just how can I make Colorado better for the people that's coming after me, the people who look like me, the women, the people of color, but really intentional about, I need to leave this place better than when I stepped into it. So from there, I took my 5th year because lucky me, I graduated in 2020. So that was right in the brink of COVID and we had no graduation. My parents were like, girl, I know you didn't do 4 years to not give us nothing. Like we need to see you walk. So I decided to come back. I used my 5th year to run track and start my master's degree program. If you know anything about COVID and when it really hit, a lot of master's degrees programs had already closed. So a lot of things weren't open. So I had a very small selection to choose from, and I chose a degree and pathway that just wasn't right for me. So about halfway through my 5th year, I actually went into my coach's office and was crying, like bawling my eyes out, telling him, I just can't do this. I don't think that this is the right step for me. I think I have to quit track and just be done. And he looked at me, he was like, I know you don't want to do that. Like, I know that this isn't an degree probably for you, but we can figure it out. Like, I want you to stay if this is something that you want to do. And from there, he took me underneath his wing. Like he had already did all 4 years, but that 5th year, he really took me under his wing to make sure that I was comfortable in my studies, to make sure that I was going to be eligible. And then from there, he took me to my AD and I sat down with Rick George. And I also was like, I don't know what I'm doing. From there, Rick took me to Catherine. I feel like I remember crying in Catherine's office saying like, I don't know really what's next for me. Like, I'm just in school, trying to run in a master's program that does not make sense for me. And none of this is really working out for me. Like, I felt like I was so lost and just kind of like hit my rock bottom. Like I probably moved too fast and wasn't thinking through all my decisions that I was making. From talking with Catherine and talking to Rick, Rick really offered me another year to come back and work kind of like as a GA. So he would pay for my schooling if I worked in the department. So my 6th year, so after I finished competing, I went into my 6th year school, and that's when Rick offered me a job to be the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Associate. So what Deandra is doing now, that's what I got to do last year, was blessed to do last year. And then from there, I worked for a whole year. We came up with great ideas like the Buffs Luau, shout out to Janai, the Buffalo Fiesta, like a bunch of different things that we were trying to really aim at the student athlete experience, and also bring the staff in from the cultural perspective of just having both, because an athletic department, you have the staff who's really supporting you, and then you have the athletes who are your peers and your cores. So you were trying to bridge that gap to make you feel like it's a family atmosphere, even though sometimes, you hear the word family, it can be triggering from different people, but we really wanted to make it feel like you're home away from home. From there, though, I went ahead and graduated with my master's degree in organizational leadership, and then I started my job here at the Big Ten. I am a George and Viola Talaferro Fellow. My fellowship lasts for 2 years, so I'm currently in my 2nd year. Crazy how time flies. But yeah, I'm currently in my 2nd year, and I'm currently at football media days. So I snuck off into a small room to be able to talk to y'all. But if anybody has any questions for me, I'm more than welcome to take them. But I'm gonna open the floor up to you, Catherine, and everyone else.
Ariana, thank you so much. I think you are one of the people who has been at and within our department for a long time and found your place that you wanted to make a difference, and really took it and ran with it. So you've done a lot that has a lasting impact on this department, and we're really proud to see you representing over at Media Day in your conference. So we appreciate you so much for being here. She, again, is such a great resource. So please, I think she, like she said, she is a forever buff. We always think of her as a forever buff too. So if you want to get in touch with her too, I'm sure she would be happy to just embark some wisdom on you as well. So
yes.
Yeah.
Y'all can connect with me. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Deandra, if you can please put my LinkedIn in the chat, that would be great. And then I look forward to hearing from you all. And I just want to leave y'all one. I see my track and field freshmen in the building. Shout out to y'all. And just make the most out of your experience. This time is going to go fast, and maximize your time, maximize the university, maximize the resources, because they're going to maximize you all for your talents and your beliefs and your studies. So maximize the university as well. Take everything they have to offer. And good luck, y'all. I'll be cheering for y'all.
That's awesome, E. Thank you so much for joining us. Good luck with the rest of your busy day over there. So, yep, just snaps for her, because there's a lot of really great information that she has shared with you today too. Just thinking about how you can take advantage of all of the things that you're going to do during your time here. So with our last 4 minutes of the day, we've already done our cohorts. We've already talked with Ariana, but now for the last 4 minutes of our time together during first year program summer, just wanted to talk a little bit further about, part of your leaving a legacy and creating your own here at CU is thinking about how you can be a really good teammate. So you all can read through these, every single one of these words that's on this screen. But it is really all about building relationships, those turn into partnerships, understanding your role on the team. Maybe sometimes that role right now is going to look different than what it potentially will be for the rest of your time here. But just think about how you have a really important role on every single one of the teams that you're going to be a part of. Constantly improving, leading by example, being prepared, using the resources that we've given you, understanding what some of your personal strengths and weaknesses are. We all can do that. We can all learn a little bit more about ourselves and have better self-awareness. We'll do some of that together with first year program. Coming in with a positive attitude, being accountable, having that agency for all of the things that you are in charge of, doing the extra things. Sometimes that little bit of effort goes so far. So just like Ariana said, if there's a door that opens at CU, you walk through it and there could be a bunch more that are open on the other side. So it's how you take advantage of everything that's available. And then just having that constant effort. So with that, just as a refresher, so we've talked about all of these topics during the summer. So the resources here, effective communication and making sure you know how to talk to coaches, to trainers, to professors, to the 300 people that work in this athletic department. Those are all really important skills to have. Understanding and remembering time management, making sure that you understand wellness from the whole perspective that we provide to you here. And then today, again, making good decisions, being a good teammate. So if you need to, go back and reference some of these resources that we've given to you. They're all going to continue to live on Canvas, which you will all soon be using with all of your classes that you're going to be taking. So next steps, we have those 2 sessions that we will see you for first year program. One thing that I did not put in here, which is going to be the first time we all get to be together, is that welcome back picnic on the Sunday before school starts. So it's the August 27th. You all should have received an email about that. If you haven't yet, then you'll start seeing more information about it soon too. But it's a really fun way to start building your community with your other buffs that are around you. Again, first year program number 1, it's going to be on Monday, September 11th, all about, so you're here now, how are you going to take advantage of everything? The second one is all about housing, finding it in Boulder, and just finances, some basic budgeting. So all of that to say that education continues. We're really excited to get to see you for all of these next things. I want to give a huge shout out to all of you who have taken part in every single one of these, or if you're going back and you're watching them later, it is super helpful. I also want to thank the entire cohort leader and committee for giving all of your effort to help put this together. So there's a lot of pieces and people who really want to see you be successful here. So enjoy the rest of your summer. If we don't see you for a little bit, then enjoy that, but just come back charged, ready to go. And we cannot wait to see all of the things that you'll do during your time here at CU. So again, thank you guys so much for everything. And we will look forward to seeing you guys soon.